Welcome to More Than Mindset, the only podcast that bridges the gap between spirituality and success. Go beyond the mind with clarity and confidence coach Kim Guillory and learn how to integrate your passion to serve with your skills and experience to create a business you love. Let's get started. Hey there, and welcome back to the show. So first of all, I'm going to start off with talking about human design and the emotional wave. And the reason I'm going to talk about it is because I am in the low end of the wave. The low end, which means I'm not excitably high right now. And it's so interesting to watch my mind kind of go crazy because, like I said in one of the previous episodes, it's like being on a lake where there is no wave. It's super flat. And you're basically like trying to make a wave happen, like trying to get excited, trying to get energized when it's just flat. So I was posting about this in the More Than Mindset Facebook group today. And my team, it's kind of funny. It's like, you're definitely in a low. Like, what do we do? Because we're supposed to be launching the business liftoff, but you're a little heavy. And so I am trusting the wave like never before. I am committed to living my design as a 6'2" emotional generator off the roof with the 15.2 3 times. I am a woman of extreme and I embrace it. I actually have learned to make friends with myself instead of fighting it, to accept myself and what is. Previous years, this would have been a diagnosis or some sort of reason to be on medication or whatever, ADHD, depression, bipolar, whatever you want to call it. I spent my 24 years medicated and numb, and I won't go back. So I'd much rather take the highs and the lows. But it's very interesting watching, like my belief is just as strong. I'm super solid about the vision. I show up no matter what. I'm just in a different state of being, but everything else is super clear. So it's really interesting to watch myself, but also watch others, because my team that I meet with in the morning are non-emotionals. They're all sacral, and they can feel this, they can sense it. And it was interesting in the beginning when they would just kind of all follow my lead. So it was almost like I could kind of suck them down into the swamp and then take them up into the hot air balloon. And so now that we're detecting it and talking about it, it's fascinating, watching. So I'm just going to start off with just letting you guys know 50% are emotional, 50% of us are non-emotional, and it affects all of us because the wave is like, we often don't even know that it's happening inside of us, but those with open emotion feel it and then they amplify it back to us. And then it's extreme, right? It's even more extreme. So permission granted to hang in the swamps, if that's what you feel like, and to fly in the hot air balloon, if that's what you feel like. Just trust it, trust the process, play around with it, explore the idea of it is safe to be in the low. I do not need to be energetic and put out massive amount of things right now. And since I've started doing that, I have been gifted with so much awareness. My coaching is badass. Like, it's really good. I'm super grounded, more powerful than ever whenever I'm helping someone manage their mind. And so it's proven to be a good thing. It's just my mind wants to tell stories about, I'm not going to have energy to do things. And, it's almost as if like it's warning me that this is really bad, Kim. This is a really, really bad thing. And it's not. So for those who haven't tried it yet, explore. And I'm not telling you that it's just go lay down on the sofa, which I guess if that's what you felt like. I continue to move through my commitments. I continue to be myself and do the things that are on the schedule. Like, I've just learned to manage my mind, control myself so that I don't feel like I have to be in control of my environment, if that makes sense. So I don't have to control other people and what they do and how they act. And I can truly just trust. And yeah, we have a launch next week. It's the business liftoff, and it's an opportunity to come to eSchool. And I fully trust that our marketing is going to work, our email, it's going to find the right people, the posts are going to reach whoever it's supposed to in the way that we're doing it right now. So for those of you who are doing business and feel like your emotions control you or your design or whatever, the story is, I challenge it this week. All right, on to the show. So we are talking about belief vampires. I kind of made that up, by the way. I'm going to tell you what a belief vampire is and a little example, and then how to protect yourself and what you can do to repel them. So buckle up, Buttercup. I've got a good one for you today. So let's first start off with, what is a vampire? A vampire feeds on the vital essence of the living. They hunt at night because the sunlight weakens their power. They have super strength and are often hypnotic, sometimes in a sensual effect of way. So super strength, often hypnotic, hunt at night because the sunlight weakens their power, and they feed on the vital essence of the living. So I have been playing around with this for the last couple of weeks, especially when we have events like retreat and someone's belief is really high and they are supported by community and they are like in the top of their game, like they're vibing high and their belief is working for them and they're validating the belief and they're taking action because the belief is so strong. And then they get home, or sometimes just getting to the airport, leaving that type of environment and getting into the airport. So I've had it happen in the Uber. Like my Uber driver was just super negative and hating like where she lived and the traffic and talking about the government and like all of the things, like all the way to the airport. And that is a belief vampire. When your belief is so strong, you can feel it on all three layers: mentally, so the way you think about it; emotionally, the way you feel; and viscerally, the way that you show up, because it's all the way through your system. So you're in the three layers of belief. You've got your action plan, you're high vibing, you've got the community supporting you, and then you get home. Bum, 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 bum. Those people who you love dearly, who were not with you, who did not experience the vision and the belief and all of the things, are suddenly telling you all of the things that can go wrong. They kind of steal your dreams, dampen your vision, plant doubt, question your faith. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know people like that? When you are excited and you're believing and you're sharing and you're like even planning out, and they are telling you all of the things that can go wrong, what has happened in the past, other people who have tried something similar and have failed. What else are they warning you about? Just take a moment and just think of all of the things that you have heard from these belief vampires coming to steal your belief to match their energy, because their strength is in the zapping. That's where they are strong at. They're like what's pulling you down into the swamps. And you start to get a little heavy, a little disappointed, a little nervous. And then you start to envision all of the things that can go wrong, why it's not possible, why you shouldn't have believed, why you shouldn't have believed these people who you were with. And then they may even tell you you're part of a cult and those people are weird. Like all of those things. Those are belief vampires. How many belief vampires do you have in your life? Could you name them on one hand? Maybe both hands and your feet? How many? How many do you have? And what do they tell you? What doubts do they bring up? How does it affect you and the action that you were going to take? What happens to your faith? Just think back all of the years, all of the times that this has happened. And you feel sort of a victim of your environment, of your circumstance, because this is just how it is. This is just how they are. And you are just stuck in this because there's no way out. These are the people that you love. They're so negative. And you spent all this money and time and you got away from them. And you were feeling really good and excited. And they just popped your balloon. Boof. Right? So disappointing. So if you answered yes to any of this, that you have had people steal your dreams or dampen your vision or plant doubt or question your faith, then I have great news for you. I looked this up on the internet, by the way, so it's been proven. You ready for this? Garlic. Garlic, also known as the stinking rose. That's what it said. So you can wear the garlic, you can smudge it on you, you can smudge it on them, you could smudge it in the room, you can hang it from around you. But if you don't want to play with garlic, you could just wear a cross. And I thought this was interesting because the cross represents faith and belief, right? And the vampire is coming to steal that from you. They're coming to take that away because then they don't have to be accountable for what they think is not possible for them, because they can't watch people around them do it, because then it would prove to them that they could be the source of their own problems, that it's not possible for them because of personal responsibility. So it's way easier for the belief vampire to just keep punching holes in your balloon and to keep planting and dampening and stealing. It's way easier for them to keep you where they are. Because if you rise, if you go into the light, their power is weakened. And then they have to look in the mirror and they have to experience what they are not doing, what they are not accountable for, what they are not taking responsibility for. So it is way easier for the belief vampire to kind of go after the weakened one. And I'm not saying you are weak. I'm saying that the belief is not quite so strong, so it's easily taken away. But once you grow clarity and confidence and courage, then you're in the light, you're back in the belief, and that will repel them. So wearing the cross is like wearing your belief, wearing your faith, being in the light, remaining in the light. So that is how you protect yourself. That is how you repel them, because they can't come into the light because it will weaken their power, and their power is to suck the belief out of you, to plant fear and doubt and scarcity, and remind you of the past and all of the things that can go wrong, maybe even shame you. So if you wear the belief, if you're in the high vibing light, if you're staying in a community that supports you, if you're remaining in awareness, if you're bringing in more consciousness than not, if you're trusting source, spirit, God, if you're in the faith and belief and light, you will be protected. Now, I'm going to tell you 3 things that you can do, because I want to make sure that you are equipped and prepared. So let's just say you want to believe this thing, whether it's a better relationship, building a business, making more money, getting out of the hood that you live in, whatever it is. What can you do to keep them away from you, to keep yourself protected, to repel the belief vampire until your belief gets strong enough that you're so clear and so certain and so confident that they can no longer affect you. What can you do? So here's the three things. You decide and you do it. So in the punchline approach, I talk about taking massive action, and it's by first choosing. So that's the deciding. And then you commit to yourself, and you commit to whatever the vision is. And then you cultivate as if it already were. And that's the living in the light, the living in the belief, the living in the faith. And then you cut away what is not in alignment. You cut away, you protect yourself from the vampires. You cut away by placing boundaries. I am not telling you to cut and throw people in the trash. I'm telling you that you can cut the behavior away by you committing and cultivating. And it's because you decided and you are doing. They're not going to like that. So it's your responsibility to stay above the swamp. It's your responsibility to stay in the light, to stay high vibing, to stay in belief. Number two, don't talk to them about your vision, about your belief, about what you want to create. Protect yourself by not telling them. Don't talk to them about that. Maybe you can talk about the garden, or talk about your new shoes, or talk about the weather. Keep it simple. Talk about a new coffee flavor, right? But don't share and talk about the vision, the dream. Protect it. So don't talk. Show them instead. Show them how it's done. Do not tell them. Just be it. Just do it. And number three, be the light. They will not be able to stay in your presence, or their disbelief will not be able to stay in the presence. They will not be able to steal your belief, because the light weakens their power. Does that make sense? That's the three things that you can do to repel the belief vampire. So those of you who are in coaching and who are in some sort of personal transformation, maybe it's reading books, maybe it's listening to podcasts, and you are making change in your life, yet you still live in the same environment, and you're not sure what to do about what we call negative people or belief vampires. They are the ones who come around and you can feel them a mile away. It kind of feels like the low emotional wave. Maybe you can ask them, hey, in your human design, are you emotional? Is this your low wave? You could just ask. That'll blow them away, right? Then they're for sure going to think that you're in a cult or something. This has been so fun for me to play with the last couple of weeks. And like being able to research and understand more about the vampire. And because, guys, I don't know a lot of things about a lot of things. I just know what I do know about what I know. And like understanding the garlic and the cross and the faith and the belief, and putting it all together and being able to give you some sort of takeaway of how to protect yourself so that you can stay in belief, so that you can create more potential or express more potential in the world. It just makes it a funner place to live. I think the rest is just made up stuff. We really don't know. We don't know. We don't know if there's really vampires. We don't even know if any of this stuff is true. I told you, I got it from the internet. But what I do know is that when you are creating change in your life, in your environment, and the others that you love, and notice I did say the ones that we love, are not having the same experience as you. And so they're not seeing through the same perception. And when you try to get them to believe or understand what you now see, they can't, boo. They can't. It's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that your mind has been expanded. It's kind of like when you blow up a balloon and then you deflate it, it never goes back to its original size. And so your mind has been expanded. Your vision has been expanded. Your dreams seem more possible. So there's nothing wrong with them. This is not a better than or worse than. It's not even about positive and negative. It's about living in this more light or more expansive, and the other can't see it yet. And maybe you could just say that they can't see it yet. And be very careful that you're not becoming the victim of their circumstance. You have to maintain personal responsibility for the experience that you want to have. It is not their job to believe for you. It is your job. So stop putting them down, throwing them away, and all of that stuff, unless you need very clearly defined boundaries and you need to step away physically, then that's fine too. And of course, don't listen to me. Just go and try it for yourself. This is some of what I've experienced working as a coach, as a fitness trainer, as a massage therapist, as a hairdresser. I've been working in the world of people for a very long time. And I see what happens when an individual starts loving and accepting themselves and the person that they live with does not. It's painful. It's hard. And they have to suck the belief out of you because they're in danger. They don't want you to outgrow them. They don't want you to leave them. They don't want to be insecure. And so then they go into defense. And that's what this behavior is about. It's just a behavior. It is not them. Don't label them. Don't put them in a box. Recognize that it is human behavior. And maybe you can have an intimate conversation or be transparent about what you're experiencing. Let them know, right? Just let them know that, hey, I'm really trying to believe something a little different and change some things in my own life about the way that I see things and the way that I expect things. And so there's a little bit of change going on. And I know it's uncomfortable, but if you try to teach them what you know and they are not ready, it's disappointing. I get it. I feel like that even like in my own communities, talking about some of the things that I understand and see and have detached from. And I want them to see, I want to shake them. Please get this because it would be so much funner. But that's my judgment in comparison of how I think someone else should be. That is not my business, and it is not yours either. What's your business is the experience that you can control and that you are having. There you go. That is my take on what is a belief vampire, how to protect yourself, and what you can do to repel them. If you stay in the light, they will not be able to hang around with you because it weakens their power. So you keep believing, you take personal responsibility, and you go out and make the change that you want to see in the world. And if you want to grow your business, come to eSchool. If you want to try out eSchool, come to the Business Liftoff. The link is below. And if you think that this would help someone else, I ask you to share it, leave a rating and review so that we can get the show to more people. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than Mindset.